Hi, and welcome to the cradle of civilization, the land of Sumer. Today, we take a journey back in time to one of the world's oldest civilizations, nestled in the fertile region that we now know as southern Iraq. A land steeped in history where human society began to shape itself in ways that would forever change the course of our collective journey. Imagine a landscape bisected by two great rivers, the Euphrates and the Tigris. These rivers were the lifeblood of Sumer, giving the land its fertility and making intensive agriculture possible. It's here that the Sumerians cultivated a variety of crops, from grains to legumes, orchards to vineyards, forming the backbone of their economy. This agricultural bounty didn't just ensure food security, it also sparked the rise of cities, the foundation of a new socio-economic order. But it wasn't just the rivers that played a critical role in the development of Sumer's economy. The rich alluvial soil was a boon for agriculture, allowing the Sumerians to produce surplus crops. These surpluses could then be stored and allowed for the development of trade, laying early foundations for complex economic systems. With the rise of agriculture came the need for irrigation, leading to the creation of complex canal systems. These canals not only watered the fields, but also served as transportation routes, connecting different parts of Sumer and facilitating trade. This was an era before the invention of the wheel, remember? Yet the Sumerians were establishing the foundations of an economy that was advanced for its time. And so, from this fertile land, amid the ebb and flow of the Euphrates and Tigris, the Sumerians forged a civilization that would stand the test of time. They developed an economy based on agriculture, trade, and the ingenious use of their natural resources. It was a system that laid the groundwork for future civilizations and set the stage for economic concepts that we still use today. Now let's delve deeper into the economic revolution that Sumerians brought about. The Sumerians were not just farmers, they were also innovators and inventors. Their most transformative invention was undoubtedly the cuneiform script, a system of writing that would revolutionize their society and its economic administration. Let's take a step back and appreciate the magnitude of this invention. The cuneiform script, developed around 5,000 years ago, was one of the first forms of written communication. It consisted of wedge-shaped marks made on clay tablets. This may seem rudimentary by today's standards, but it was a monumental leap forward for mankind. Before the invention of cuneiform, the Sumerians, like other ancient societies, relied on a barter system for trade. This system was quite simple when trading was limited and goods were few. However, as societies grew and economies became more complex, keeping track of who owed what to whom became a daunting task. The invention of writing, in this case cuneiform, was the solution to this problem. The cuneiform was essential to the Sumerian economy, which we will get back to later. Trade was the lifeblood of the Sumerian economy. With that in mind, let's delve into the complex web of commerce that the Sumerians wove, both within their own borders and beyond. The Sumerians, situated in the fertile lands between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, were not content with the bounties of their own land. Their ambition and curiosity led them to establish extensive trade networks. These weren't just local markets, mind you. They were among the first civilizations to engage in long-distance trade. Imagine the hustle and bustle of a Sumerian marketplace. Barrels of grain, stacks of textiles, pottery, and other goods produced by the industrious Sumerians were readied for export. These were the fruits of their labor, the products of their fertile lands and their skilled craftsmanship. These goods were destined for far-off lands, carried by riverboats or overland caravans, reaching as far as Egypt, India, and perhaps even China. But what did the Sumerians get in return? You see, the Sumerians were astute traders. They knew the value of what they had and what they needed. While they had a surplus of food and textiles, they lacked other resources. They imported metals like copper and tin, which they used to create bronze. They also sought after precious gemstones, timber, and other goods that were scarce in their own lands. The Sumerians didn't just trade with other civilizations, they also had a robust internal trade system. Cities specialized in different industries, creating a diverse economic landscape within Sumer itself. For example, some cities focused on agriculture, while others became centers of textile production or metalworking. This internal trade fostered innovation and specialization, further strengthening the Sumerian economy. The Sumerians were pioneers in many ways, and their approach to trade was no exception. Their trade routes were like the veins of their society, pumping life into their economy and ensuring its vitality. They understood the importance of diversification and interdependence, concepts that are still fundamental to modern economies. Sumerian trade was indeed a global affair, but their economic contributions went even further. They laid the groundwork for future civilizations, demonstrating the benefits of trade and international exchange. So, as we move on to explore further aspects of the Sumerian economy, let's keep in mind the power of trade, a power that the Sumerians harnessed so effectively. Welcome to the birthplace of money and credit. Today we're diving into the economic innovations that the Sumerians brought to the table. From the development of early forms of money to the establishment of credit systems, these ancient folks sure knew their way around finance. Let's start with the concept of money. Now, when we think of money today, we picture crisp bills or shiny coins, but back in Sumer, money as we know it was just an accounting tool. Standardized silver weights called shekels were the unit of account. However, the shekels didn't physically change hands when trading. The shekels were just a clever tool for making the goods flow smoothly. We shall soon see how. The monetary system of ancient Sumer was fundamentally a credit-based monetary system. And as mentioned earlier, the shekels were mostly an accounting tool. You see, in Sumer, not every transaction was a simple exchange of goods on the spot. Sometimes people needed to borrow goods or metals, promising to pay back later. This was the dawn of credit. Now you might be wondering, where did they keep all this wealth? Where did they go when they needed to borrow resources? Well, my friends, welcome to the first banks of the world. Temples and palaces in Sumer served as these early banks. They stored wealth and lent resources, much like banks do today. Consider this, you're a Sumerian farmer who's had a spectacular harvest. You've got more grain than you know what to do with. So you take your surplus to the local temple. The temple stores your grain and in return gives you a receipt of sorts, a cuneiform tablet that says how much grain you've deposited. Now, this tablet isn't just a receipt, it's also a sort of promissory note. You can use it to pay other people who can then go to the temple and claim the grain. Shekels, on the other hand, could be received in one's account at the temple after the delivery of a good, and then these shekels could be used to buy or swap for another produce the temple was storing. On the flip side, if you're a craftsman who needs materials for your work, you can go to the temple and borrow what you need, or a farmer who had not stored enough food until harvest season could borrow grain to keep his family alive until harvest. You then pay back the temple over time with interest. Yes, the Sumerians had figured out interest too. The Sumerians not only had a knack for trade, but they also had a sophisticated understanding of finance. They transformed their economy with these innovations, laying the groundwork for modern economic systems. Money, credit, banking, these aren't just modern concepts. They're as old as civilization itself. And we have the Sumerians to thank for that. The Sumerian society was complex, and so was its economic structure. Delving into the intricacies of the Sumerian social economy, we find an elaborate division of labor that played a pivotal role in shaping their economic landscape. The society was not a monolith, but a vibrant tapestry of various social classes, each playing a distinct role in the economic machinery. At the top of this social pyramid were the priests and the ruling class, who administered the large temple complexes known as ziggurats. These ziggurats were not just religious centers, but also the political and economic heart of Sumerian cities. They were the hub of trade, storage, and redistribution of goods, effectively functioning as the central economic institutions of their time. The rulers and priests wielded significant economic power, controlling the resources and deciding how they were to be allocated and used. Next in the hierarchy were the free citizens, who were engaged in various specialized professions. The Sumerian economy was marked by a high degree of occupational specialization. There were farmers, fishermen, weavers, builders, metalworkers, and scribes, among others. Each profession contributed uniquely to the economy. For instance, weavers produced textiles, one of Sumer's major exports, while scribes, with their knowledge of cuneiform writing, maintained economic records, enabling efficient administration. Further down the social ladder were the slaves, who formed an integral part of the Sumerian economy. Slavery in Sumer was largely a result of warfare, debt, or punishment for crimes. Slaves were primarily used for manual labor such as farming and construction. They also worked in the homes of the wealthy, performing domestic chores. Despite their low social status, slaves played a crucial role in the Sumerian economy, providing the labor force that sustained its agricultural and infrastructural needs. The division of labor in Sumerian society was not just based on social status, but also on gender. Men were typically involved in physically demanding jobs like farming, fishing, and building, while women often worked in the textile industry as weavers and spinners. They also played a significant role in the marketplace, selling the goods produced by their families. This intricate division of labor, coupled with the social and economic roles of various classes, contributed to the dynamism of the Sumerian economy. Each class, each profession, and each individual in their own way contributed to the functioning and growth of the economy. They were like cogs in a vast economic machine, each essential for the smooth running of the whole. In conclusion, the Sumerian society, with its complex social structure and elaborate division of labor, serves as a fascinating case study of how social dynamics can shape a civilization's economic practices. Through their innovative approach to labor division and economic administration, the Sumerians were able to create a thriving and resilient economy. The Sumerians had a complex social economy, and this complexity was reflected in their innovative economic practices. So there you have it, the economic brilliance of the Sumerians. They built one of the world's earliest civilizations on the fertile banks of the Euphrates and Tigris, where intensive agriculture became the backbone of their economy. The Sumerians developed cuneiform writing, a groundbreaking tool for managing their complex economic systems and trade networks. These pioneers of long-distance trade exported goods like grain and textiles and imported essential resources they couldn't find at home. Their economic innovations were remarkable. They conceived early forms of money and credit systems, and even established the first banks in their temples and palaces. Furthermore, their societal structure and division of labor greatly influenced their economy, with slavery, specialized professions, and the central role of ziggurats shaping their economic landscape. The Sumerians were indeed pioneers in many ways, and their economic contributions have shaped the world as we know it today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please click like though and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye for now.